Most agents are doing open houses completely wrong, and they're leaving thousands of dollars in commissions on the table. Handing out boring brochures, dead. Sitting at the door hoping someone signs in, that just doesn't cut it anymore. And the truth is, if you want real phone numbers, real emails, and actual leads you can close, you have to flip the script and actually give people value. I've built a system that gives me over a 90% success rate at capturing legit contact info at my open houses, and it's not complicated. It's just a smarter way to run them. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my exact open house playbook step by step, and I'll show you how I set up, how I deliver value, and how I convert curious walk-ins into long-term clients. And by the end, you'll have a strategy you can copy and use right away to get more leads and close them into commissions. So how I run my whole strategy is through my CRM, which is Lofty. If you have other CRMs, I'm sure you can do something similar, but this is the step-by-step guide through Lofty. So on my screen here, you can see my back end of my Lofty, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do these open house forms and what I do to get the automations and how to do everything on that end. So the first thing you want to do is see this marketing tab right here, and you're going to want to open that up. What you're going to do here is then scroll all the way down on this left-hand side bar, and you're going to see something here that states open house forms down here on the bottom left. Once you open that up, it's going to pull up listings. These are my current listings that I have or ones that I've had previously. And what's beautiful about this strategy is you can use this even if you don't have any listings. So if you're doing open house coverage for somebody, you can definitely employ this strategy so it can help you out not only on your own business. So not only can it help you out with your current business and your current listings, even if you're hosting it for someone else, you can still use this strategy exactly. So as you can see here, I have a ton of them filled out already. I'll go in the back end of what they look like, but I'm going to set it up for you in the first place. So once you're here, you can see this add new. So you're going to go add new, and if you haven't created one previously, you will see that you'll have three options. So I have three new listings that have come up, and let's just do one for this one right here. So all you do is click it, and it auto-populates the cover photo for you, the address, all these things. The next thing you want to do here is select a questionnaire. You can build your own templated one. You can use other people's. I have one here that's just a default questionnaire here. And once you have one that is a default, you can then move forward with it and have some more options here. What you'll always want to do is keep this as a personal lead. You don't want it going to a company or EXP, because if you have leads coming in, they will filter them to somebody else. So make sure that's personal. What I do with this strategy, and you can see here, you can send a welcome email, you can send a welcome text. I deselect the welcome email here because we're going to already automate our own email and we don't want to bombard them right away. The reason why I leave the text message with a CRM phone number, when you text, you sometimes see at the bottom, it'll say this text was from Kyle Mark. If you no longer want this text, unsubscribe, something like that. If we can text them in a very non-threatening way and they have our phone number in and they want to keep that phone number, know it's associated to me, moving forward, it can remove that unsubscribe function so you can keep them in your system. So we'll do that as well to make sure that we can capture their phone number and as well as email there. Once you press save, you're going to go back into this marketing space again. You're going to go all the way back down to the open house forms, and now you're going to see it's auto-populated right here. And essentially what this does, when we go through that last step, it sets it all up. Now it's automated for us. So when we're ready to go to an open house, you just go back into this left tab, you pick the property. This is the one on Nelson's Crescent. You click on it, and now you have this beautiful open house sign-in sheet. They can use a QR code. I don't really want them doing this. I bring my computer so that they can actually type it in. Sometimes if you go with the strategy of having them use a QR code, they'll say, oh yeah, we'll do it, we'll scan it, and then off you go. You want just to go here with the fill-in form and make them do it in front of you. I also state that with my clients, we do have a preference that you do sign in for security reasons, also so that we can keep you informed on the property. So it is a non-negotiable for people to come in to sign this so that we can keep tabs of who's in the home for security purposes, as well as to give you information on the property. So with that default questionnaire, you can see what the questions are here. What's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? All of these are mandatory for them to fill in. There's a box here for them to agree to receiving communication so that we're completely in compliance. And then on here, I just have two questions. Do you have a home to sell first? Yes or no? Within how many months do you plan on buying a home? And they can have these selections. Once that's in and they put their information here, And this is an important step because you have to create a contact to create a tag so that we can get that automation working. So what do I mean by that? Just bear with me here. So you should all, if you're in your CRM or Lofty, you should have yourself signed up as a contact so you can help with all these triggers and automations. And this is part of the process here. So I'll put my name here. What is my name? Kyle Mark, email, and it's going to have me in the system already. And then what's my phone number? And then whatever, you can put in anything that you want. You put in these questions and then you're going to hit submit. And remember, this is a crucial step. You have to do this. Once you have this set up, you have to make a test run of yourself. So once we're in here, and then we're going to go back to my Lofty, and what I'm going to see is that you can see I have now re-inquired here in terms of myself. And the reason why this is important is now that I have put this into the system and you can see that it's captured me here, it now is going to create a tag for this property. And you can see it's right here, 200 Nelson's Court. It's created this tag. If you don't have this tag, you're not going to be able to create your automation. So once you've gone through this and you create this tag, we're going to head back to the marketing tab here, and we are going to head into the automation portion and smart plans. And this is where creating your own private profile and getting that tag is so important. So as you can see, these are my automations here in my CRM system. We're going to want to add new. It's going to be a standard plan. We're going to have a plan name here. So it's going to be the address name. So 123 Main Street, open house. This is going to equal to a buyer because obviously the people coming in are buyers. And then we're going to set up the triggers and then the action. So the trigger, this is where that tag comes in. And then we're going to go into tag change, and it's going to bring up our trigger controls. So whenever a tag is added in this case, and now that is why we made that dummy profile to get that tag made by the system in Lofty. You look for the address. This one was Nelson's Crescent. We have this added and ready to go here. So whenever someone comes into our system and logs into our open house plan here, they're going to get tagged with 200 Nelson's Crescent. Then this smart plan is going to trigger and it's going to send them what we want to send them. So you press save here. And the next thing we're going to do here is the action. And this is where the magic happens. We're going to create an email here that is the automation that's going to be really concise and to the point. And this is why people are going to give you their contact information. As I mentioned off the top, I no longer do property brochures, and I had beautiful property brochures, but they just did not convert. People come in, they take the brochure, they have no reason to talk to you anymore. And the whole purpose of you hosting an open house is one, for you to sell the home, and two, it's to get more clients into your database. But if you are giving them the information and you're not having that interaction, that exchange of personal information for value, it really breaks down. If you don't have their information, you can't follow up with them to see what they thought of the property. Perhaps they need to be kept in touch if you are in a multiple offer situation or you do a price change. You need to have this information on hand so that you can give them information on that property. And two, if this is not the right property for you, you can help them find something else. So the first thing we're going to do here is build out this email. And I've done the research here to have the perfect subject line as well as the content in the email itself. I went through ChatGPT because I was having a lot of issues with these emails going into spam or promotional folders. But there is a strategy on the type of words and what the links look like to make sure that it gives you the best chance to get into the proper folders. Keep in mind, I do preface to everybody, hey, this email is likely going to go into spam or promotion, so please check that now. And when people do sign up, you want to make sure that they're opening that email right away. And the beautiful thing with Lofty is that when people do open it, you can see if it's been opened in your system here. I've opened up another window here just so that you can see exactly what I have put out here. You can take a screenshot if you want to copy and paste it. So the welcome email subject line is super easy. Welcome to whatever the address here, this one specifically to 1361 West 7th, right? So once you have a template of this moving forward, you can always open the old one and then you can just copy and paste those items here. So in this type of situation, we would just take a copy of that, we would put it over here, and the new address on this one is SPH06 200 Nelson's Crescent. The next portion here you want to build out, you want to do your welcome, obviously. So hi. And this is where it's important if you're new to CRMs and you don't know what a variable is, These are ways that you can really customize something or have a trigger to automatically put something into your email. So over here on the variable section, you'll just come down to lead first name. So whatever name they put in with this registration, they are going to autofill that. So it's all personalized. So we go, hi, lead first name. And like I said, you just want to take a screenshot of here. This is exactly what I build out in terms of my structure here. So take a screenshot of this. You can use it word for word. I really don't care. So I take a copy and paste out of this. I go into my new section here and I just paste it. And again, this is proper verbiage here. Obviously, you're going to have to change the address, and we'll just take this out and we'll put this in here. And it says, thanks again for stopping by the open house at SPH 06, 200 Nelson's Crescent. To make things easier, here's everything you might need. And this is where you can really get the value. When I preface it to people, they say, hey, where's the brochure? Where's this? I always preface it by saying I'm environmentally friendly. There's so much paper and so much waste that I do everything electronically. Plus, there's only a specific amount of information I can fit in a property brochure. So I've made a Google Drive link that has the MLS sheet, the Form B, the property floor plan, and anything else that you may need. If you're in a detached property, I'll attach the oil tank scan. If there's a list of renovations and upgrades, I'll put that into a Google Drive link as well, so that when you preface people right off the top as to why they need to sign in, it provides curiosity. It's not just a brochure that they get, it's all this other information that they'll want access to. So here, to make things easier, we've got everything that you need. And like I said, property documents, brochure, floor plan, MLS sheet, strata plan, full marketing hub, 3D Matterport tour, listing video, photo gallery, home buying blueprint. And again, this is something where you can try to get them into your system if this is not the place for you. You're just providing so much value here. So all I do is 3 bullet points. I have Google Drive and some links in here. I know you can change things up in terms of putting a different name here for the text to display. I did some research. If you pare it down, this is called a naked link when it's just as is. If you try to change it, it can trigger spam and promotional folders. So it's good just to leave it as is. Then I say, if you have any questions or need anything as you look things over, just hit reply. Happy to help anytime. Best. And then signature in Lofty. I'm not going to do it now, but you can create an email signature. You need to go to a variable. You need to put in your signature here. It looks professional if you have a nice, beautiful signature. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to build one out that's not templated here, but you just go to variable, and then this one's going to be for you. So under agent, and then all you need to do is just search signature. And that's it right there. And then you'll make sure that you'll have your signature on file. So what do these links look like and how do I put them in? I'm going to put it in another window here so you can see exactly what I am doing. So for this particular one here, this is the Google Drive folder. So you'll just have a Google Drive folder with your address, tab, open house. And then in here, I put the strata plan in the States. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's just essentially the development drawings of what the strata lot is, or whatever the verbiage that you use. That's in here. This is something that usually buyers will not get. They'll find that valuable. The property brochure and floor plan. Here's my brochure. It has all the information, so they still have it. You can save money on printing. And then at the end, it has the floor plan here. I put in the MLS sheet, obviously. That is important. And then I have a Form B, and this is essentially the passport for a property. It shows what the strata or maintenance fees are, HOA fees if you're in the States, how much is in the contingency reserve fund, and anything else such as parking stalls and storage locker numbers and things of that nature. So you have this nice little package here that they have. They can access it on their phone, super easy to move forward with that. I have this next link here, which is the property hub. And this you can actually build out in Lofty as well, a designated property hub. I will show you how to do it in another video. But then they have access to the YouTube video, the highlight video, virtual tour, and everything else here. So you can direct them into this. And this will also have them make a profile after 15 seconds for lead capture. So you have that of value. And then I also will put this in, and I will be doing a video for this later as well. I have a home buyer's blueprint and I host it on something called High Note. So if they want any information about me, because obviously they're a very cold lead coming in, there's everything that they need to know about me, my brokerage, my home buyer's guide, my process, everything that I do for my buyers, and how to subscribe to my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and then obviously wanting them to book a call with me here. So in this small little automation here, you can provide so much value, and you just need to be prepared in communicating your value stack with this. I went from having a sign up sheet where everyone scribbles their name, they scribble their phone number, and barely anyone signing up, to more than 90% close rate in terms of getting contact information. Sometimes the phone number can still be wrong, but the email is always 100% right because they actually want this value. And you really want to make sure that it's not just the MLS sheet that they can get on their own or the floor plan. It's something else that's a little bit more that they need you to get that access to. So, use ChatGPT to script this out on how you want to communicate it if you're new or unsure of how to close this. But this is a very, very powerful way in terms of being able to capture those leads into your system and then being able to move forward with them. And this year I've closed millions of dollars in volume from this strategy alone, and I have a few more deals coming up at the end of the year. And just so that you can see why this is also a really nice strategy, it organizes everything for you here as well. So what's really nice about this system is when people do sign in, you can see that they all come in and they're organized, their name is in here. You can see that obviously this is my test run, but it will show you the property they are allocated to. So you can put a tag to it so they're segmented already, and then you can start keeping tabs. And why Lofty in your CRM use is so important, when people are searching properties in here and why you want to keep them in there, you can see when people are looking at certain properties, as you can see here. And this just gives you really easy access to get into communication with them. So again, this is a really easy strategy, something that you can put into place. Once you have a template, you copy and paste it. It looks super professional. Walking in, as you can see on the screen, being able to show them this property, have a nice form. It shows you professional. It shows that you have systems and structure, and then you're leading with a ton of value to get that exchange of contact information, get them into a client, and then get them into a closed transaction.